Good morning. This is Dave Dixon. If we haven't met, I live up in Northern California, and I wanted to talk to everybody about my little prizes that I have, things that are important to me. Well, I'm going to start out by a story that I was out measuring a backyard up in the mountains. Because I build swimming pools, so I needed to measure it all out. And as I was out there measuring, I noticed on the ground what looked like a log. I mean, it looked dead on like a log. And so I kind of kicked it to move it out of the way. And that's when I realized, oh my God, that's not a log. That's a petrified wood. It was the coolest thing I ever seen. I just thought, oh my God, this is great. I always wanted a petrified piece of wood, but I was thinking like something really little. Mine's pretty big. And so, yeah, there's my petrified log. Here's in relationship to my foot. It's pretty dang cool. And so I went back into the owner. He came out while I was working out there, and I go, hey, you got like a petrified log over there, but it's a rock. And he goes, I don't want those damn rocks around here. He goes, if you want it, you can have it. I go, are you serious? He just bought the house, so I guess he apparently did not care about it at all. He goes, no, I'm serious. If you want the damn thing, just take it out. Take it. And I was like, okay, stop the appointment. Stop what's going on. I went out, I grabbed my four-wheel drive truck, and I backed it into his backyard. And it was kind of a rural country property. And he and I together loaded it into the back of my truck, and I strapped it down. Now, the funny thing about it is I went out there a couple times, and he was not able to get financing. So he never did get a swimming pool, but I got my petrified log, and I'm going to try to insert it into this video. That was number one I wanted to talk about. Another thing that I just bought a couple years ago, and I used to like to carry it around. I know I'm weird like this, but it's a tooth from a megalodon, which is a shark that lived over 1 million years ago. And I was like, this is the coolest thing. This is my megalodon tooth that I have. It's pretty cool. It's been polished, so that ruins it, in terms of being like a museum quality, but I really like the look of it once it's polished. I used to keep it in my pocket like a Lucky Charm, but it's like over, I can't remember if it's a million years or 10 million years old, but it's pretty cool. This is a megalodon is a shark. It's an ancient shark, which is massive. And then this is just one of its teeth. So I don't know why I like this kind of stuff, but I think it's really cool. It's funny because my wife, she doesn't care about it. The wives of husbands that I know that have seen it, they don't care about it. But I showed it to my buddy, and he was like, oh my God, that's the coolest thing ever. So what I did was I made a silicone mold of it, and then I made I think it's a polyester resin, cast resin, and I made a copy of it. And so I gave him a copy, and then he went ahead and painted it. And his looked pretty dang good. The way he painted it had a really good antiquing look to it. So I just gave him a couple more. I think he's going to paint them for me. He already ended up giving up one of them away, which is okay. I can make another one. But it's just the coolest thing ever. And I don't know, I feel like it's a lucky charm. And then the third thing I have that's prehistoric is, and I might need some help. I do need some help on this. I'm not even sure where to go. I was thinking about going on a group on the internet that might be able to help me out with what it is. My buddy that I gave him that megalodon tooth made out of resin for Christmas, we're pretty close, and for Christmas he gave me one of his rocks that he has. It's something, he gets them all over the place. He's one of those guys that gets stuff all over. But it's a footprint of either a dinosaur or maybe like an ancient bird. And so that's what he's thinking, bird. But I don't know why. There's not really a reason he thinks that. He has no idea either. So I'm going to try to put it online somewhere. But if anybody out there knows what it might be, I'm going to also put that in this, in this video. Now, it's just kind of a weird thing, that I'm like into these. But I remember when I was a kid, I mean, I knew all the dinosaurs. I knew Triceratops, three-horned face, Stegosaurus, plated lizard, Tyrannosaurus rex, tyrant king. And I just was really into them, and so I had a nickname when I was in elementary. They called me Dino Boy. and I have always wanted to go somewhere where they're digging them up. I don't need to have one, but I just would like to be involved with where they're digging them up. I saw up in Montana where they were doing it. And I don't know, maybe when I get older and I'm traveling around, I might go up there and at least look around and might end up buying a dinosaur bone, a real one. But some of the stuff is so expensive, it's hard to justify it. And I'll be doing my van life, so I won't have like a lot of room to buy stuff. But I wouldn't mind even being on a dig. I'm pretty good at digging. And I'm pretty good at finding things, so maybe that would work out for me. Anyway, oh yeah, I did want to say another little story about the Petrified Forest. I went there one time when I was traveling to New Orleans, and I was in the Naval Reserves, and I was in my Turbo Saab. I think the speed limit, before you could just travel right through the park. I mean, you're traveling on a road right next to these big, massive logs that are all petrified. And so as I was driving through, I was in my Turbo Saab, so I was kind of turboing around. And behind one of the big logs, there was some forest rangers, some park rangers. And they had a radar gun on me, and they got me for speeding. So they pulled me over. I started to get out of the car, and they said, please get back into your vehicle. I was like, oh my God. This has got to be 20 years ago. Oh, no, probably over 30 years ago. And so I got back in the car, waited for the guy to come up, and I was kind of like my typical person. And so the park ranger said, do you know why I pulled you over? And I said, because I have California plates? And he said, no. He goes, because you were speeding. It's only 15 miles an hour and you were going 35. And I was like, oh, yeah, I'm sorry about that. I didn't see you guys behind that log. And he said, well, that's the point. You're not supposed to see me behind the log. And I go, oh, all right. So he gave me a speeding ticket. And that started my whole fascination with petrified wood. Anyway, I just wanted to say that. I just thought of that story. So thanks again for looking. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate your time. Have a great day.